These are the worst Xenos races you could ever meet in the galaxy. And you will meet one of them. The Imperium has a word for everything that isn't human, and the word is heretic adjacent, and the plan is always the same. Burn it. The problem is that some of these things burn back, and some of them don't die, and one of them will keep you alive on purpose for a very long time. Let's go from bad to worse. Orks. You hear them before you see them. A green tide coming over the hill, and every single one of them is laughing. That's the first thing that breaks people. They're having fun. You are the worst day of your life, and to the orc charging you with a rusted chainsword the size of a door, this is a great afternoon out. An orc is a fungus that grew legs and decided the meaning of existence was violence. They spawn from spores in the ground, which means you never kill the last one. You clear a world, you glass it, you salt the earth, and 20 years later the spores wake up and there's a fresh wah growing out of your farmland. Their whole biology runs on war. A single orc is manageable. 1,000 of them start believing things. And here's the part that isn't a joke. When enough orcs believe something works, it works. Their guns fire because they think they should. Red vehicles genuinely go faster because every orc agrees that red ones are faster. You are fighting an enemy that reshapes physics through peer pressure. So they come, and they keep coming, and the tide never runs out because your dead reinforce their belief that fighting you is worth it. You could hold a fortress against them for a year and win every single day and lose because there is always more green. They don't want your planet. They don't want your resources. They want the fight. And you brought a good one, and they're grateful.
You'll die to a creature that considers your murder a favor you did for it. At least the orcs are honest about it. Keep that thought. It's the last time honesty enters this list. Necrons. You find a tomb. Some idiot with a shovel always finds the tomb. Ancient metal, green light, hieroglyphs older than your species learning to walk. And then it wakes up. And the thing that steps out doesn't roar, doesn't charge, doesn't even look at you the way the orcs did. It looks through you. You are a reading on an instrument. You are dust that started moving. The Necrons were flesh once, 60 million years ago, before the star gods called the Catan ate their souls and poured what was left into undying metal bodies. 60 million years. Your entire civilization, every empire humanity ever built, fits inside a rounding error of the time these things have been asleep. They didn't die. They filed themselves away. And now they're filing back in, dynasty by dynasty, and they have a claim on this galaxy that predates the concept of your homeworld. A Necron soldier walks toward you at the same speed it does everything. It shoots you with a weapon that strips your body apart one molecular layer at a time, flaying you into nothing while you're still standing. You shoot back. The metal knits shut, and it keeps walking. You can put one down, and it phases out in a flash of green and reassembles in the tomb below, good as the day the stars were young. There is no attrition. There is no wearing them down. There is only a very old machine finishing a task it started before you existed. The orcs want to kill you. The Necrons have simply noted that you're in the way. Somehow that's worse. Aeldari. Now it gets insulting. The Aeldari of the craft worlds are beautiful, ancient, dying, and absolutely convinced that a single one of their lives is worth more than your entire planet. And the horror isn't that they're wrong. The horror is the math they'll do to prove it. An Aeldari farseer can see the future. Not vaguely. They read the threads of fate like a timetable, and they run the numbers, and the numbers say that if your world burns today, one of theirs survives a war 3 centuries from now. So your world burns today. You never see the enemy that decided this. You get a raid you don't understand, an evacuation that fails for reasons that feel like bad luck, a chain of small disasters that were all steered, carefully,
by someone who calculated your extinction as a rounding step in a sum you'll never see the total of. They move like the raid is already over, because for the Farseer, it is. They walked the branch where this works before they ever set foot on your soil. You're not fighting soldiers. You're fighting a conclusion that was reached before you woke up this morning. And when they leave, they won't feel cruelty or triumph or anything you'd recognize. They'll feel the mild relief of a problem closed. You were load-bearing in someone else's survival, and they pulled you out, and the structure held. For them. You can at least see an orc coming. This one already left. Genestealer Cults. Here's a question. When did your planet fall? You're going to want a date, and there isn't one, because it happened 3 generations ago and nobody noticed, including the people it happened to. Including, possibly, you. It starts with one creature, a Genestealer, all claws and patience, that gets into a hab block and infects a single human. Not kills, infects. The next generation of that family is born a little wrong, a little devoted, and by the 4th generation, the mutations breed out and the children look human again. Perfectly human. Human enough to become a foreman, a magistrate, a planetary governor, a captain in the local defense force. They love their world. They pray in the temples. They also share one dream, passed down in the blood, of the Star Father coming down from the sky, and they will open every door for it when it arrives. So there's no invasion. There's no fleet on the scanners. There's a labor dispute that turns into a strike, that turns into an uprising, and every key position is already held, and the mines and the factories all belong to the cult, and it turns out the man running your planet's defenses has been waiting his whole life for this signal. And the signal is a Tyranid fleet, which the cult summoned, because that dream in the blood was never about liberation. It was about dinner. You spent your whole life next to these people. You'll die realizing you never met a single stranger. Which brings us to what they were calling Tyranids. Look up. That shadow across the stars isn't a cloud. There are no clouds in space. That's the Hive fleet, and it's the size of a solar system, and it is hungry in a way that has no bottom. The Tyranids are not an army. An army wants something you have. The Tyranids want the something you are. Every living cell on your planet, every plant, every ocean, every person, every microbe in the soil is measured as biomass, and biomass is the only thing in the universe they value. They descend in numbers that stop being frightening and start being weather. You don't fight individuals. You fight a tide of teeth directed by a single hive mind, a psychic will so vast that standing under it feels like drowning in a scream you can't hear. And they learn. Kill a swarm with flame, and the next wave shrugs off flame. Find a weakness, exploit it, win a battle, and you've simply taught the organism what you are. When it's over, they don't occupy your world. They digest it. Great tendrils drop from orbit and drink the oceans, strip the atmosphere, and render every living thing you ever knew into nutrient soup, pumped up into the belly of the fleet, to be reforged into more Tyranids to do it to the next world. Nothing is buried. Nothing is remembered. The planet is left a smooth gray rock, and the fleet moves on, a little larger than before. Even your soul doesn't escape. The hive mind's shadow in the warp swallows Psyker's whole. There's no afterlife to flee to. You are eaten completely. In every way a thing can be eaten, and the galaxy has already lost count of how many worlds went this way. That's the worst way to lose everything, but it is, at least, a way to end, which is why the last one is worse. Drukhari. Everything before this was trying to kill you. Understand that as a mercy, because the Drukhari have no intention of letting you die. Death is the one thing they will withhold, because death is the only mercy left, and mercy is the last thing you'll ever be given in the dark city of Camorra. The Drukhari are the Aeldari's dark cousins, and they're starving. Every one of them has a soul that leaks away, drained by a thirst that never stops. And there's exactly one thing that fills the wound. Suffering. Not their own. Yours. They feed on the pain of other living things, and the fresher and sharper and more prolonged that pain, the more it sustains them. So they raid. They come out of the webway in the dark, fast and silent, take your city's population alive, and drag you back through a door in reality to a place where no one has ever been rescued from. And then they go to work, and they are very, very good at their work, because they have had thousands of years and no moral floor to get good at it. Their surgeons can keep a body alive and awake and screaming through things that should have killed you 100 times over. They resurrect the ones who die too quickly and start again. There is no ransom. There is no escape attempt in the third act. There is a homunculus who regards your nervous system as an instrument and intends to play it for a century, and every noble and commoner who buys a ticket to watch. The Orks would have killed you laughing. The Necrons would have flayed you without noticing. The Tyranids would have digested you into the future. Every one of them, in the end, would have let you stop. The Drukhari found that flaw in the others and fixed it. They will keep you, and keep you awake, and keep you long past the point where you've forgotten your own name, your own world, and the fact that there was ever a time the pain wasn't there. So, those are the worst Xenos races to run into in the galaxy. The ones that kill you fast are the lucky draw. Which one would you take if the Imperium let you choose? Because it won't. It'll just send you out there, and one of them is waiting.